Marriage. All marriages take place only according to God's will. Work. Whatever work you do, either worldly or sacred, and spiritual or good and noble, if it is undertaken wholeheartedly and in all earnestness and sincerity, it is bound to succeed. God's will. Whenever you do a thing, whether it succeeds according to your expectation and desire or it doesn't, you should accept the result cheerfully and remain happy, taking it as God's will. Decision. Whatever decision you take or arrive at will not become a decision, because God's decision alone is real and final. The significance of satsangha, meaning association with the holy. Listening to spiritual talks, associating with and courting the company of saints, gurus, and holy people, one must do to the extent possible. This will prevent a person from getting engrossed and submerged in worldliness, which only proves self-ruinous in the end. The mind of a person who yearns for satsangha will get interested in truth, God, reality, and such other wholesome, enriching, and ennobling pursuits. Finally, he develops a craving for God realization also. God's grace. I am myself a living and standing example to illustrate the truth that if one gets God's grace and compassion, he gets everything. Once one gets God's grace and compassion, God goes on giving everything to such a devotee. Have no doubts. Have no doubts regarding Guru's words. It is none of your business and concern whether the Guru simply says something or says something only to test you. Just follow and be according to his words. That is sufficient. In satsangha, one should speak out spontaneously. When one is in the company of saints, gurus, and holy people, one should speak out whatever comes to his mind spontaneously. That will be the truth. There is nothing wrong in that. One need not speak after using his intellect, thinking, and deliberating. Only a devotee can be a true philanthropist. One who contributes either physically or in kind or monetarily for good deeds beneficial to all, or for works connected with God and spirituality, can be either poor or rich. One need not necessarily be rich to be a true philanthropist. In fact, only a true devotee of God can be a true philanthropist because he sees God in everyone and is ever interested in the well-being of all living beings. All really good deeds are possible only by such true devotees. Pujya Appas Satsangha on the second night of Shivararathri in 2003. Today, I am feeling like talking to all of you. I waited for you to ask me to speak, but somehow you didn't. You people always used to ask me to speak, and I was not obliging. Today, you didn't ask, and still I feel like saying a few words to you. All of you had such big words to tell about me. You called me God, a walking God, a talking God, a guru, a Sadguru, and so many other fine things. But all of you were talking with reference to this physical body of mine, with face, arms, and legs. with reference to my outward appearance. I am not, however, this body or its limbs. I am far, far subtler than this gross physical body or its outward appearance. I am in fact far too subtle. It is this subtlety that is God, that is Guru. If you see my outward appearance, I am this gross body. But you can see me from other angles and in other ways also. I appear to you according to how you view me, according to the angle of your perception, according to the way you look at me. But in reality, I am far too subtle. I am subtler than the subtlest. The deeds that are done by this subtle thing are also very subtle. For example, all programs for the day ended long back. After the last item of the program, it was announced also that all of you should immediately proceed to take food. But you have not gone yet. You are all still here with me. Why? None of you know. This subtle thing wanted to speak. That prompted the subtle essence in every one of you not to proceed to take food, but remain stay put here. I am very fond of all of you. You may be having any status, you may be leading your lives in any way, but my fondness is the same towards all of you. There are a lot more people in the world, and it is not that I am not fond of them. I am fond of them too. But you people have come here seeking God, seeking your Guru. I am therefore more fond of you. But my love and fondness for you is also very subtle. I therefore love you and make my fondness work upon you in a subtle way through my subtle love and fondness. You see me in my gross form, but I am very subtle, and I know the subtlety in every one of you. Only the subtle can know the subtlety in others. From your behavior, from the way your eyes move, from the way you talk, walk, and behave, and from the way your arms and legs move, I can read the subtle activities going on inside your minds. Today, all of you have participated in the car festival with great faith and intense devotional fervor. The ochre-clothed devotees wholeheartedly and soulfully sang bhajans with great devotional fervor and danced joyfully in ecstasy, forgetting their bodies. The ladies too sang and danced before Lord Datta in ecstasy. In fact, they were overcome and possessed by intense devotional fervor. Therefore, they became free of their natural sense of shyness and modesty and danced in ecstasy, unaware of their bodies. All of you, ladies, gents, children, old people, nadaswaram players, drum beaters, torch bearers, everyone revelled and swam, carried over by a current of bliss, joy, and merriment. The kind of ecstatic delight and joy the ladies enjoyed, they would never have got even if their husbands, of their own free will, had given them all the money they had and asked them to freely spend and enjoy in joy and merriment. All this happened because the subtlety in this body willed that it happened this way. Whatever happiness, joy, and merriment we get in this life should always be the outcome of our constant remembrance of God, our steadfast worship and service to Him, and our journeys and travels undertaken for His sake. We should always talk of Him, debate, discuss, and sing His glories, and dance joyously singing His sports and glories. Like this, when all our activities get centered around God and God only then will we become heirs to eternal peace, bliss, and joy. May God bless you all. Cricket Vedanta. Appa one day went to see a cricket match in Chinnasamy Stadium in Bangalore to oblige a group of his intimate disciples. He made these comments while watching the play. One can see flashes of spirituality in cricket also. One can learn lessons of spirituality from watching a cricket match. For example, comparatively speaking, the other players can afford to take it a little easy, but not the batsman facing the bowler. He has to be extremely alert and attentive. A devotee who is under the care of a guru will have to be as alert and as careful as the batsman playing his innings. The 6 balls he has to face in an over are the 6 enemies, namely lust, anger, greed, attachment, arrogance, and envy the sadhaka has to face in his life. These go on impeding his spiritual progress. He should therefore be ever ready to face their onslaught with courage and determination. Otherwise, he will be overcome by these subtle and very powerful enemies and will suffer endlessly. He will not be able to continue his spiritual practices and will not progress spiritually. He will be like the batsman who gets out early without scoring runs. If he continues getting out, with poor runs to his credit, innings after innings and match after match, he will be dropped from the team altogether. Where is then the question of his becoming the topmost batsman of the country and earning name and fame, etc.? Similar is the case with the spiritual aspirant. If he goes on succumbing to lust, anger, greed, etc. frequently, he will never be able to climb up the spiritual ladder. Where then is the question of his reaching the goal of self-realization? In cricket, there are 11 players in the team. In a human being also, there are 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action, and mind, which make it 11. Just as all the 11 members of the team try their best to see that the batsman does not score, the 10 organs in the mind are ever pulling man to indulge in infinite attractions parading before his eyes in the world, to induce him to submerge in worldly pleasures and enjoyments and ruin himself. A sadhaka, a devotee, a spiritual aspirant must therefore shun all worldly luxuries, comforts, pleasures, and enjoyments, and concentrate all his attention upon his goal. It is only then that he can reach his goal of self-realization and establish himself in everlasting peace, bliss, and joy. In other words, he becomes, in our cricket illustration, a highly successful, world-class batsman who can go on merrily hitting boundaries and sixes at will and delight the whole multitude of spectators. Instead of this, if the sadhaka falls an easy prey to worldly pressures and pulls, he will ever remain far from his goal of self-realization. In cricket, all the players know that the whole world is watching them, and they remain ever attentive and strain every nerve of theirs to put forth their best and excel. Similarly, sadhakas and devotees treading on the path of spirituality should know that they are also players in the stadium of world creation, and both God and Guru are ever watching them. They should focus all their attention upon their spiritual disciplines and proceed on their path with deep devotion, fear, and humility. In fact, all celestial and immortal beings, including Lord Devendra and his entire retinue, yakshas, gandharvas, kinnaras, Kim Purushas, etc., will indeed be watching them.